One of the most common frustrations of writers everywhere is wondering where to begin, and for good reason. All of the incredible twists and turns that a story goes down could end up being pointless if the readers simply look away after a disappointing opening. It just so happens that nobody does openings quite as well as Quentin Tarantino. It is difficult to decide which Tarantino film has the best opening. The tip argument in Reservoir Dogs, the electric dialogue of The Hateful Eight, and the diner robbery of Pulp Fiction are all incredible openings. But perhaps his most memorable opening is the first scene of Inglorious Basterds. Although there are countless reasons why this scene is great, I will be focusing on the four-step process that Tarantino has perfected to craft his openings, in hopes that you can apply these four steps to your own writing. Step 1. Show the audience something ordinary. This step is actually pretty simple. Start off by giving the audience a glimpse into the everyday lives of the characters before anything plot-oriented happens. For Tarantino, he shows a family on a milk farm. The mother is hanging up clothes, the father is chopping wood, and we as an audience get a feeling that what we're initially shown is nothing special in the eyes of the character. Step 2. The catch. The catch is a detail or group of details that hints at later events. If the audience was just shown something ordinary and nothing else, then they would have no reason to continue watching or reading because they'd get bored. The catch can be something small in scale or massive. Inglorious Basterds has two major catches. The first catch is that a car filled with Nazis is driving onto their property. The second catch is a farmer's frantic reaction to tell his family to prepare themselves. The purpose of the catch is to give the audience a sense of tension for the later events of the story. The audience doesn't know where exactly the story is going, but when the catch is done right, their minds will be going crazy trying to figure it out. Seeing a car full of Nazis makes the audience wonder why they're coming onto this property specifically and what their intentions are. Also, seeing how frantic the family becomes tells the audience that they have a reason to be scared of Nazis being on their property, even though we don't know exactly what that reason is yet. Step 3. Call to action. The call to action is an occurrence that forces a character to make a decision. The call to action in the opening scene or chapter doesn't necessarily have to be the main call to action of the whole story. The purpose of a call to action is to show the audience how our characters react under stressful circumstances. The farmer sitting in his house and having a conversation with the colonel. This long conversation is filled with many calls to action, such as Londa asking for milk, information on a missing Jewish family, or if he can smoke. However, the main call to action in the scene is when Hans Landa gets incredibly serious for a moment and asks,
"You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you not?"
This is when we can see how both characters react to tension. Who cracks under the pressure and who shines, who holds all the cards and who is merely playing the game. This is when the farmer responds,
"Yes." You're sheltering them underneath your floorboards, aren't you? "Yes."
Step 4. Show the audience something extraordinary. This is the moment of climax in the opening scene. After you've successfully built up tension for the audience, it all needs to come crashing down in glorious fashion. The purpose of this step is to show the audience the stakes at hand and what the characters can potentially lose later on in the story. London now knows that there are Jews hiding under the floorboards, and it's his job to act on it. The audience is shown the brutal act of violence that unfolds.
Je vous dis adieu.
What this does is establish to the audience that Hans Landa is a threat not to be taken lightly. It shows that he has cunning intellect, the command over Nazi soldiers, a willingness to kill if he has to, and the playful nature in which he does everything. From then on, every second that Landa is on screen, the audience feels tension because they know what he has done in the past. When executed properly, the first scene establishes the tone of the rest of the story and gets the audience excited for where everything goes. The details of the 4 steps that you use don't need to resemble the details of what Quentin Tarantino does with it. Your opening doesn't need to be violent or funny at all. What's important is to remember that it's all relative. What you do with the 4 steps needs to be in service of the story that you're writing and to get the audience excited for what's next.
Posted.